Have you ever wondered what drives a person to wake up early, chase their dreams, or push through challenges? Motivation is an intricate dance between psychology, biology, and environment that propels us toward our goals. To understand motivation, we must first explore its types: intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation arises from within. Think of artists pouring their hearts into their craft, driven by passion rather than reward. Meanwhile, extrinsic motivation is influenced by external rewards, such as money, recognition, or grades. But what happens when these motivations collide? Consider the research by Deci and Ryan, who introduced the self-determination theory. They argue that for optimal motivation, three psychological needs must be met: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who pursued goals aligned with their intrinsic interests reported higher satisfaction and well-being. Why does this matter? Because understanding the sources of motivation can help you harness it for personal growth. Let's turn to a case study of a high school named Gear Up, a program designed to prepare students for college. Researchers discovered that students who felt supported and engaged in their education demonstrated higher motivation levels. Empowering students to take ownership of their learning transformed their attitudes toward education. In this chapter, we laid the groundwork for understanding motivation. It's more than a mere desire, it's a complex interplay of personal and external factors. Next, we will delve into the brain's role in fueling our motivation, exploring how neurotransmitters can make or break our desire to succeed. What happens in our minds when we feel that rush of motivation? The human brain is a powerhouse of complex processes that dictate our every action. When we talk about motivation, we cannot ignore the role of neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers. Two key players in this field are dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, is released when we experience pleasure or rewards. In fact, a study from the University of Michigan found that individuals with higher dopamine levels are more likely to pursue and achieve their goals. This is evident in behaviors such as eating a delicious meal or receiving praise at work. On the other hand, serotonin plays a crucial role in mood regulation and overall emotional well-being. Low levels of serotonin can lead to feelings of apathy and disinterest, making motivation a distant goal. A study published in the journal Molecular Psychiatry shows a direct correlation between serotonin levels and motivational drive. When serotonin levels are optimized, people report improved motivation and focus. But it's not just about the chemicals, the brain's structure matters too. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and impulse control, is essential in determining our motivation levels. When we understand how our brain operates, we can better harness these mechanisms to boost our motivation. Let's consider the inspiring story of Thomas Edison, who faced countless failures before inventing the light bulb. Edison's relentless pursuit was driven by his motivation to change the world with his invention. His brain was wired to seek reward from the challenges he faced, illustrating the profound impact of neuroscience on motivation. This chapter revealed the science behind motivation on a neurological level. Next, we'll dive into how our environment influences motivation and performance, exploring how the right surroundings can turn your motivation from a flicker into a flame. Our surroundings have a profound impact on our motivation levels. Studies show that when we are in environments that stimulate our senses positively, our drive to accomplish tasks increases dramatically. But what exactly makes an environment motivating? Research from the University of California found that people who worked in brightly lit, clutter-free spaces reported higher productivity and motivation. In contrast, environments filled with distractions lead to decreased focus and lower motivation levels. Let's explore the concept of psychological safety, a term coined by Dr. Amy Edmondson. Her research indicates that when people feel safe to express themselves and take risks in their work environments, motivation flourishes. Take Google, for instance. The company has cultivated a workplace culture that encourages innovation, collaboration, and open communication. The result? Employees are motivated to bring their best ideas forward, leading to groundbreaking products and services. Consider the contrasting story of Enron, a company that thrived on fear and unethical practices. The toxic environment led to a decline in motivation and ultimately corporate collapse. When individuals feel demotivated and fearful, they are less likely to contribute positively to their teams. The impact of social environment cannot be underestimated either. A study from Harvard found that social connections boost motivation and encourage individuals to pursue their goals. The people we surround ourselves with can inspire us to reach new heights or drag us down into complacency. In this chapter, we uncovered how vital our environments are to fostering motivation. Next, we will discuss specific strategies to enhance our self-motivation, focusing on how to create the optimal conditions for success. What steps can you take to cultivate a motivating environment? Self-motivation is the key to achieving long-term success and personal fulfillment. But how do we cultivate this essential skill? Several proven strategies can help you ignite your inner drive. First, setting clear, achievable goals is crucial. Research shows that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. This simple act of committing your ambitions to paper can provide a roadmap for your efforts. Next, incorporating positive self-talk is vital for maintaining motivation. A study published in Psychological Science found that individuals who engage in positive affirmations show greater resilience and motivation when faced with challenges. Try speaking kindly to yourself. It can change your mindset from self-doubt to empowerment. Another effective technique is to visualize your success. Visualizing your goals can create a mental image of triumph, enhancing your motivation to achieve that vision. Athletes often use visualization to enhance their performance. A well-known example is Michael Phelps, who famously visualized every aspect of his races. Phelps credits this practice as a vital part of his success, allowing him to stay motivated through grueling training sessions. Moreover, creating a motivating environment is vital. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals, inspiring quotes, and visual cues that keep your aspirations in the forefront of your mind. Decluttering your space can also significantly enhance your focus and drive. Lastly, accountability is a powerful motivator. Sharing your goals with others can create a support system that encourages you to stay on track. Join groups, enlist a mentor, or partner up with someone who shares similar aspirations. This chapter provided actionable strategies for enhancing self-motivation. But what happens when motivation wanes? In our next chapter, we will uncover the barriers to motivation and how to overcome them. Despite our best efforts, motivation can sometimes feel elusive. Whether it's burnout, fear of failure, or lack of direction, various barriers can block our path. Understanding these obstacles is the first step in overcoming them. One significant barrier is burnout, which often arises from chronic stress and overworking. A study published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that employee burnout leads to a 63% decrease in motivation over time. Recognizing the symptoms of burnout, such as fatigue, irritability, and decreased performance, can help you take proactive steps to combat it. A common fear many face is the fear of failure. This fear can stifle motivation, as individuals often avoid challenges to escape the possibility of making mistakes. A survey by the American Psychological Association found that over 60% of respondents reported that fear of failure prevented them from pursuing their goals. How can we tackle this? Cultivating a growth mindset, as researched by psychologist Carol Dweck, can help alleviate this fear. When individuals see their abilities as improvable, they are more likely to embrace challenges. Another barrier is lack of direction. Without clear goals, it's easy to feel lost and unmotivated. Utilizing techniques like vision boards can help visualize your goals, providing clarity and inspiration. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that individuals with visual goals reported a 33% improvement in motivation compared to those without. Lastly, the influence of negative self-talk can't be overlooked. The inner critic we all have can diminish our motivation faster than anything else. Replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmations can shift your mindset and improve motivation levels. In this chapter, we dissected the barriers that can obstruct our motivation. But how do we push through these challenges? In our next segment, we'll explore the importance of resilience and how it plays a critical role in maintaining motivation through trials. Goals are like the lighthouse guiding our ships through turbulent waters. But what is it about setting a goal that sparks motivation in the human spirit? Let's take a moment to understand the psychology behind goal setting. Research shows that goals help clarify our intentions, both short-term and long-term. According to a study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology in 1986, individuals who set specific goals showed a 90% higher performance rate compared to those who did not. What is it that makes goals so powerful? Imagine an athlete preparing for the Olympics. They don't simply practice, they visualize their victory. They create a roadmap with milestones, like personal bests, to keep them engaged and motivated. For instance, consider the story of swimmer Michael Phelps. From a young age, Phelps set ambitious goals for himself, such as breaking world records and winning gold medals. During his training, he maintained a rigorous schedule, often practicing up to 6 hours a day. His goals were not just about winning, they were about pushing his limits, representing his country, and inspiring others. Setting effective goals typically involves the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Each element serves a purpose, transforming vague aspirations into concrete plans. However, not all goals motivate us equally. Research by psychologist Edwin Locke proposes that performance improves when the goals are challenging yet attainable. For example, envision a student aiming for a grade A on a science project. This goal is challenging, it requires consistent effort and focus. Yet, it's plausible enough that the student believes success is within reach. Conversely, goals that are too easy or far-fetched can lead to complacency or hopelessness. This balance is crucial. The right goal can act as a motivational springboard, providing the energy and momentum needed to push through challenges. Another aspect is the role of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation in goal setting. Intrinsic motivation arises from within, driven by personal satisfaction or the joy of accomplishing something meaningful. Extrinsic motivation, however, involves external rewards, such as money or recognition. While extrinsic rewards can be effective in the short term, intrinsic motivation is often more sustainable. Let's consider the findings from a 2009 study from the University of Rochester. Researchers discovered that students who were motivated by intrinsic factors, such as a genuine interest in the subject, performed significantly better than those focused on external rewards. When we align our goals with our intrinsic motivations, our passions and values, our drive intensifies. Whether it's pursuing a career in music, art, or science, the motivation rooted in personal interests can lead to profound fulfillment. However, while intrinsic goals hold tremendous power, it is essential to recognize that combining both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators can create a robust framework for sustained motivation. Let's now look at the importance of feedback. Timely and constructive feedback can act as a catalyst for motivation. It provides individuals with a sense of progress and accomplishment, reinforcing the desire to continue toward their goals. According to a survey conducted by the Harvard Business Review, employees who receive regular feedback are 3.5 times more likely to feel engaged at work. Feedback also fosters resilience. It helps individuals identify areas of improvement, transforming failures into learning opportunities. The story of Thomas Edison is a perfect illustration. After countless failed attempts at inventing the light bulb, he famously stated, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." In conclusion, goals act as the roadmap in our journey of motivation. They channel our energies, clarify our focus, and ignite our passions. When we set meaningful, challenging goals, align them with our intrinsic motivations, and seek feedback, we unlock a powerful engine driving us forward. But what happens when achieving our goals doesn't lead to the expected fulfillment? Let's dive deeper in the next chapter. Habits play a critical role in the science of motivation. They are the invisible forces that drive our daily actions and decisions, often without us even realizing it. Over time, our habits become ingrained routines that can either propel us toward our goals or hinder our progress. According to a study conducted by the University of Scranton, 92% of New Year's resolutions fail, often because individuals don't establish the necessary habits to support their goals. So, what separates successful habit formers from those who struggle? The answer lies in understanding the habit loop, a concept popularized by Charles Duhigg in his book The Power of Habit. This loop consists of three components: cue, routine, and reward. Let's break it down. A cue is a trigger that initiates the habit. It could be anything from a specific time of day to an emotional state. For example, a person might always reach for a snack when they feel bored. The routine is the behavior itself, what we do in response to that cue. Finally, the reward is the positive outcome we experience after completing the habit, reinforcing its repetition. Here's a simple example. Consider someone who wants to start running every morning. Their cue might be setting the alarm for 6 a.m. The routine is lacing up their running shoes and hitting the pavement. The reward? The endorphin rush and a sense of accomplishment that comes after exercising. This habit loop reveals that motivation isn't merely an internal spark, it's the result of a well-established routine triggered by specific cues. To build positive habits, one must deliberately create cues that promote the desired action. If our cue is sitting on the couch after dinner, we must create a new cue that inspires us to get up and move. Moreover, researchers emphasize the importance of consistency over intensity when forming habits. A paper published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it takes an average of 66 days for a habit to become automatic. This means that we must be patient and persistent. Take the example of the late-night talk show host, Jimmy Fallon. He once shared how he formed the habit of writing gratitude notes every day. At first, it felt tedious, but over time, it transformed into a rewarding ritual that contributed to his overall happiness. The consistency of this practice, even when he didn't feel like it, led to its transformation into a lasting habit. On the flip side, not all habits are created equal. Bad habits can cause significant setbacks and drain our motivation. But how do we break these cycles? Researchers suggest a strategy called habit stacking. This involves attaching a new, positive habit to an existing one. For instance, if you already brew coffee every morning, you could stack a short workout immediately after. Additionally, self-compassion plays a vital role in habit formation. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, individuals who practice self-compassion are more likely to maintain positive habits compared to those who are overly critical of themselves. In essence, understanding and leveraging the science of habits is instrumental in maintaining motivation. As we form consistent routines that align with our goals, we create pathways that make it easier to achieve what we set out to accomplish. But what happens when motivation wanes despite our best habits? What can we do to reignite that spark? Let's explore this in the next chapter. We are social creatures by nature, and our motivation is often deeply intertwined with our relationships with others. The influence of social connections on motivation can be profound, often serving as a double-edged sword. Research conducted by the University of California found that social support can enhance motivation significantly. When individuals have a network that encourages and supports their efforts, they are far more likely to succeed. Conversely, negative social influences, such as toxic relationships, can drain motivation and foster feelings of inadequacy. Let's explore the story of two runners training for a marathon. One runner trains alone, battling self-doubt and motivation fluctuations. Meanwhile, the other joins a local running group, encouraging one another and sharing their progress. The second runner not only builds a supportive network but also experiences accountability. Accountability partners can boost motivation, as they provide both encouragement and a nudge when we falter. According to a study published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology, individuals were 65% more likely to reach their goals when they had social accountability. This highlights the importance of cultivating supportive relationships in our pursuit of personal growth. But the influence of social connections extends beyond support systems. The concept of social contagion suggests that our behaviors, attitudes, and even motivations can be influenced by those around us. For instance, studies indicate that if friends or family members adopt healthier lifestyles, individuals within that social circle often shift their behaviors accordingly. This effect is not limited to health, it can extend to academic performance, workplace productivity, and even personal aspirations. It's no wonder that the phrase, "you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," holds significant truth. However, social connections can also have negative impacts. Toxic relationships can sap motivation, instilling self-doubt and fear. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur who faced constant criticism from peers. Despite her ambition, the negativity of her social circle drained her motivation, leading to an eventual halt in her pursuits. The key lies in curating a positive, motivating network. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who inspire, challenge, and uplift us fosters an environment where motivation can thrive. Additionally, digital connections in today's world play an essential role in motivation. Online communities can provide a sense of belonging and support, especially for those who may feel isolated in their physical environments. Consider platforms like social media, where individuals share their journeys, hold each other accountable, and celebrate milestones together. In conclusion, social connections profoundly influence motivation. Whether we find support in friends, family, or online communities, the relationships we build can either empower or hinder our goals. As we delve into our final chapter, let's reflect on how we can harness the power of motivation to navigate challenges effectively. With a deeper understanding of motivation, how can we apply this knowledge to elevate our lives? It's not enough to simply know the theories, we must integrate them into our daily routines and choices. Firstly, start with self-reflection. Take time to understand what truly motivates you, your passions, values, and goals. This self-awareness is the foundation for setting meaningful goals. Research from the University of Michigan underscores that individuals who engage in self-reflection are 2.5 times more likely to achieve their objectives. Once we understand our motivations, we must create actionable strategies. Begin by breaking goals down into smaller, manageable tasks, and celebrate small wins along the way. This approach fosters a sense of accomplishment and maintains motivation over time. According to a study by the Dominican University of California, writing down goals and breaking them into actionable steps significantly increases the likelihood of achieving them. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily routines is another powerful strategy. Mindfulness not only reduces stress but enhances focus and motivation. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals who practiced mindfulness were more likely to stick to their goals and exhibited greater levels of self-control. Consider the experience of a graduate student who struggled with procrastination. By practicing mindfulness techniques, they learned to manage stress and maintain focus, ultimately improving productivity. Furthermore, let's not underestimate the importance of resilience. Motivation can fluctuate, and setbacks are natural. Embracing resilience allows us to navigate obstacles without losing sight of our goals. Resilient individuals often view failures as learning opportunities rather than dead ends. To cultivate resilience, individuals can engage in positive self-talk and develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset, as coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, emphasizes the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Research shows that individuals with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges and persist in the face of adversity. Finally, it's vital to share our experiences and motivate others. Teaching what we have learned not only solidifies our own understanding but inspires those around us. In conclusion, applying the science of motivation in our lives requires intentional actions and a commitment to self-improvement. By understanding what motivates us, setting meaningful goals, employing mindfulness, cultivating resilience, and sharing our journeys, we can create a life filled with purpose and passion. To wrap up, let's explore the overarching themes that connect all we've discovered about motivation. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration into the science of motivation, it's essential to reflect on how intertwined our lives are with this powerful force. Motivation is not a straight path but a winding journey filled with highs and lows, challenges and triumphs. Throughout our narrative, we've uncovered the multiple facets of motivation, from understanding its neuroscience to exploring the pivotal role of habits, social connections, and goal setting. Each thread weaves a complex tapestry that illustrates how interconnected and dynamic motivation truly is. The insights gleaned from psychological research and personal stories highlight that motivation is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It is deeply personal and often requires ongoing adjustment and realignment. In essence, motivation is about finding what drives us individually. It's about carving out paths that resonate with our values, passions, and innate desires. The importance of setting goals cannot be overstated. They serve as the guiding stars in our pursuit of fulfillment. We must also remember to remain flexible, as life will inevitably present challenges that can shake our motivation. This journey also emphasizes the importance of community. As we have learned, the relationships we nurture play a critical role in either empowering us or draining our drive. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences and being part of a supportive network can energize our pursuit of dreams. Moreover, the science of habits reminds us that lasting change doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and practice. We must be willing to experiment, fail, and rise again, knowing that the habits we establish will significantly influence our motivation and overall happiness. In closing, it's vital that we approach motivation not as a destination but as an ongoing journey characterized by growth and discovery. Embracing self-reflection, celebrating small victories, and fostering resilience will empower us to navigate our paths more effectively. As you walk away from this exploration, reflect on the unique motivations that drive you. What can you action today to enhance your journey forward? Remember, it's never too late to redefine your goals, cultivate empowering habits, and seek out connections that inspire and uplift. Your journey of motivation is yours to shape, and it holds the potential to lead to a fulfilling and purpose-driven life. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the science of motivation, as we continue to strive for our best selves, one step at a time. Motivation is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that affects every aspect of our lives. At its core, it can be categorized into two primary types: intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within, driven by personal satisfaction, enjoyment, or a sense of purpose. In contrast, extrinsic motivation is influenced by external rewards, such as money, grades, or social recognition. Understanding the difference is crucial for harnessing the power of motivation in our daily lives. Research shows that intrinsic motivation leads to greater engagement, creativity, and persistence. A landmark study by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan established the self-determination theory, which highlights the importance of autonomy, competence, and relatedness in fostering intrinsic motivation. For instance, children who engage in activities for the sheer joy of it, like painting or playing an instrument, are more likely to continue these activities than those who only do them for rewards. In a practical example, Consider the differences between the two approaches in a school setting. A student who is intrinsically motivated to learn about science because they find it fascinating will likely spend more time exploring the subject, asking questions, and engaging in discussions. On the other hand, a student who studies only to get good grades may eventually lose interest once the grades are achieved. This distinction is critical for educators and parents alike. Moreover, when extrinsic rewards are utilized excessively, they can undermine intrinsic motivation. This phenomenon is known as the overjustification effect. For instance, a study published in the journal Psychological Bulletin showed that children who were rewarded for playing with toys they already enjoyed playing with stopped playing with them when the rewards were removed. What this indicates is profound. If you want to cultivate an enduring passion for an activity, emphasizing intrinsic motivation is vital. But how do we encourage intrinsic motivation? One method is to create environments that promote autonomy. When individuals feel they have a choice in their activities, they are more likely to be intrinsically motivated. Another approach is to foster a sense of competence. Providing opportunities for skill development can enhance one's self-efficacy, making them more likely to pursue challenges and goals. Throughout this chapter, we'll explore practical applications of these principles, delving into real-life stories of individuals who transformed their lives through intrinsic motivation. As we move forward, understanding these nuances between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation will help empower you to tap into the deepest wells of your motivation. Stay tuned for some inspiring case studies that illustrate how ordinary people achieved extraordinary results through intrinsic motivation alone. Mindset is a powerful force that shapes our motivation and ultimately our behaviors. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset versus fixed mindset brought this idea to the forefront of psychological science. When individuals have a growth mindset, they believe their abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, dedication, and resilience. This belief fosters a love for learning and motivates them to tackle challenges. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset see their talents and intelligence as static traits, leading to avoidance of challenges due to fear of failure. Imagine two students, one who believes she can improve her math skills through practice and another who thinks she's just bad at math. The former will likely embrace challenges, while the latter might shy away from difficult problems, reinforcing her fixed belief. A study published in the journal Developmental Psychology found that promoting a growth mindset significantly improved academic achievement in students. The implications of adopting a growth mindset extend beyond academic performance, they also resonate in workplaces. Companies that foster a growth mindset environment encourage employees to innovate and take risks without the fear of reprisal for failure. For example, Google is well known for its culture of experimentation, where employees are encouraged to pursue moonshot ideas, leading to groundbreaking innovations like Gmail and Google Maps. This approach not only motivates employees but also drives the company's overall success. So, how can we cultivate a growth mindset? One essential strategy is to reframe the way we view challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, we can view them as opportunities for growth. Another technique is to practice self-compassion. Rather than critical self-talk after failure, recognizing that everyone makes mistakes fosters resilience. Throughout this chapter, we'll explore various case studies of individuals and organizations that successfully adopted a growth mindset and the transformative effects on their motivation and achievement. Mindset is not merely a psychological concept, it's a fundamental aspect of how we approach life. Your mindset can either propel you towards success or hold you back. As we delve deeper, think about your own mindset. How do you perceive challenges? This examination will set the stage for the practical strategies we will soon discover to enhance your motivation through mindset. While psychology plays a pivotal role in motivation, we must also explore the biochemistry behind it. Hormones and neurotransmitters significantly influence our motivation, mood, and behavior. For instance, dopamine, often called the feel-good neurotransmitter, is integral to our brain's reward system. When we achieve a goal, experience pleasure, or even anticipate rewards, dopamine levels rise, reinforcing that behavior. This biochemical reaction is the reason why we feel motivated to pursue our goals. Let's consider a practical example: a runner training for a marathon. Each time they complete a training run, their brain releases dopamine, leading to feelings of satisfaction and reinforcing their training behavior. Studies have shown that individuals who receive dopamine boosts after completing tasks are more likely to repeat those tasks in the future. This creates a positive feedback loop that enhances motivation. In contrast, a lack of dopamine can lead to apathy and low motivation, which is often observed in depressive disorders. Serotonin is another vital neurotransmitter linked to motivation, particularly concerning mood regulation. Research indicates that higher levels of serotonin can enhance motivation by promoting a sense of well-being. For example, one study by the National Institute of Mental Health found that individuals with higher serotonin levels reported greater life satisfaction and motivation to pursue their objectives. Furthermore, hormones like cortisol, often associated with stress, can also impact motivation. While acute stress can sometimes motivate individuals to perform better, chronic stress can lead to burnout and a significant decrease in motivation. Understanding the balance of these biochemical substances is crucial for anyone looking to enhance motivation sustainably. Throughout this chapter, we will dive deeper into how these hormones and neurotransmitters work, exploring how altering our lifestyle, through diet, exercise, and sleep, can influence our motivation levels. The connection between biochemistry and motivation is profound. As we navigate through this complex interplay, you may find practical strategies to optimize your biochemistry for greater motivation and success. Prepare to uncover the biological underpinnings of what drives you. Motivation is not only a personal journey, it's also deeply influenced by the culture in which one is raised. Cultures can shape our values, beliefs, and ultimately our drive to achieve. For instance, studies show that collectivist cultures, like those found in many Asian countries, often emphasize group harmony and community goals over individual success. In these societies, motivation might stem from a desire to support family and community rather than personal ambition. On the other hand, in individualistic cultures like those predominant in North America, there is often a greater emphasis on personal goals and self-fulfillment. This divergence in motivational styles illustrates how perception and context can redefine what motivates us. Consider the case of a student in Japan versus one in the United States. The Japanese student may draw motivation from a collective effort to excel for their class or family, driven by a sense of obligation and pride in their group identity. Conversely, the American student might be motivated by the desire to stand out in a college application process, focusing on personal achievements and accolades. Moreover, cultural narratives play a significant role. In Western societies, stories of individual triumph are celebrated, creating a powerful archetype that many aspire to emulate. In contrast, Eastern cultures often emphasize the importance of harmony, balance, and the group's success, leading to different motivational frameworks. Statistics reveal significant differences in motivation across cultures. A survey by the Pew Research Center indicated that in collectivist societies, 70% of respondents identified family obligations as a major motivator, while in individualistic cultures, only 30% felt similarly. This cultural lens affects much more than just education, it extends to workplaces as well. Companies operating in multiple countries often have to adapt their motivational strategies to align with the cultural expectations of their employees. For instance, American companies often employ incentive programs that reward individual achievements, while companies in collectivist cultures might focus on team-oriented rewards that foster collaboration. As we delve deeper, we must also consider how globalization influences motivation. As cultures intertwine, the traditional boundaries fade, leading to a blend of motivational drivers. In a rapidly changing world, understanding how this interplay affects motivation is crucial for both individuals and organizations. Ultimately, motivation is a tapestry woven together by cultural threads, personal experiences, and social contexts. As we navigate this rich landscape, one question emerges: how can we harness the strengths of our cultural backgrounds to enhance our motivation? What lessons can be learned from other cultures that could improve our own motivational strategies? By learning from the vast array of motivational influences across cultures, we can not only enrich our understanding of motivation but also empower ourselves and others to achieve greatness while respecting the diverse tapestries of identity that shape our journeys. The exploration of cultural dimensions of motivation is just beginning, and as we continue, the next chapter will shed light on the future of motivational science and its potential impact across various domains. As we stand at the crossroads of a rapidly evolving society, the future of motivation science holds extraordinary potential. With advancements in technology and an ever-changing social landscape, understanding motivation will become increasingly vital in various fields, from education to corporate environments and personal development. The rise of technology has already begun to reshape our understanding of what motivates people. For instance, gamification, a technique that incorporates game elements into non-game contexts, has gained traction in educational settings and workplaces alike. Research has found that when learning and work environments incorporate elements like points, badges, and leaderboards, motivation and engagement levels can skyrocket. For example, a study conducted by the University of Michigan revealed that students who engaged in gamified learning environments scored 14% higher on assessments compared to their peers in traditional learning environments. This intersection of motivation and technology raises intriguing questions about the future of personal motivation. Can we design environments that not only engage but also inspire? As we think about cultivating motivation, we must also consider the impact of artificial intelligence. AI can provide personalized feedback and adapt learning experiences based on individual responses, potentially revolutionizing how we motivate ourselves and others. Imagine an AI coach that understands your personal struggles and resonates with your unique motivational drivers, providing ongoing support and encouragement tailored specifically to you. However, there's a flip side to this technological rise. While gamification and AI offer exciting new avenues, there's also the risk of superficial engagement, where individuals are motivated by external incentives rather than genuine interest. A study from the University of Toronto highlighted that while gamification can increase participation, the quality of engagement often suffers, leading to a decline in intrinsic motivation over time. Another trend we must consider is the shift towards mindfulness in motivation. In today's fast-paced world, more individuals seek purpose and meaning rather than merely chasing external rewards. The rise of mindfulness practices, such as meditation and conscious living, suggests a move towards a more holistic understanding of motivation. Research from Harvard University indicates that mindfulness can increase motivation by enhancing emotional regulation and self-awareness, leading to more authentic pursuits and fulfillment. Furthermore, exploring the implications of remote work on motivation is essential as workforce dynamics change. With the rise of flexible working environments, how can organizations sustain motivation in a remote world? Studies show that remote workers often need more intrinsic motivation and self-discipline to thrive, prompting a call for innovative strategies that prioritize well-being and autonomy. As we explore the future of motivation science, one question continually emerges: how do we foster motivation within ourselves and others, especially in an increasingly complex world? The answers lie in understanding the dynamics of technology, cultural considerations, and the growing emphasis on mindfulness. The dialogue surrounding motivation science is just unfolding, and as we delve deeper, the next chapter will focus on how the lessons of motivation can be effectively applied in real life, ensuring that they resonate with individuals from all walks of life. Understanding motivation is one thing, applying it effectively is another. The real challenge lies in harnessing the principles of motivation science to inspire tangible change. In this chapter, we will delve into practical applications that individuals and organizations can adopt to enhance motivation across various aspects of life. Let's start with personal motivation strategies. One of the most effective ways to sustain motivation is through the practice of setting SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When individuals set clear and attainable goals, they create a roadmap that enhances focus and commitment. Research from the Dominican University of California indicates that individuals who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them compared to those who do not. Moreover, the power of visualization cannot be overstated. Athletes have long used visualization techniques to improve performance, imagining themselves achieving their goals. This technique is rooted in neuroscience. Studies have shown that our brains often process vivid imagery similarly to real experiences, activating the same neural pathways. By picturing success, individuals can ignite motivation and enhance their chances of achievement. In workplaces, fostering a motivational environment involves both leadership and culture. Leaders can inspire motivation by setting an example, demonstrating enthusiasm, accountability, and openness to feedback. A 2020 Gallup report found that teams with engaged leaders saw a 21% increase in profitability compared to those without. Additionally, creating a culture of recognition where achievements, both big and small, are celebrated can boost morale and motivation. Frequent acknowledgement can cultivate a sense of belonging and purpose, which are critical for sustained motivation. Furthermore, organizations should consider developing comprehensive training programs that integrate motivational techniques. Companies that invest in employee development not only enhance skills but also increase motivation and job satisfaction. A study by LinkedIn found that 94% of employees stated they would stay at a company longer if it invested in their career development. This indicates a clear correlation between professional growth opportunities and motivation. The integration of self-determination theory is also crucial. This theory posits that autonomy, competence, and relatedness are fundamental to intrinsic motivation. By providing employees with greater autonomy over their tasks, opportunities for skill development, and a sense of connection with colleagues, organizations can foster a motivated workforce. As we apply these strategies, we must not ignore the powerful effects of reflection and feedback. Regularly reflecting on progress and seeking out constructive feedback can help individuals and teams adjust their approaches, maintain focus, and remain motivated amid challenges. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology showed that individuals who engaged in regular self-reflection reported higher intrinsic motivation levels and improved performance. By combining these practical strategies and insights from motivation science, individuals and organizations can create an environment where motivation not only flourishes but transforms lives. As we conclude this exploration into motivation, it's clear that the journey of understanding and applying motivation science is ongoing and dynamic. In the next chapter, we will summarize the key takeaways and offer final reflections on the power of motivation. When we think about motivation, we often regard it as a purely cognitive process, something that can be calculated or measured. But what many fail to realize is that emotions play a powerful role in driving our motivation. Emotions fuel our desire to pursue goals and can either propel us forward or hold us back. Recent psychological research indicates that emotions significantly influence our motivation levels more than we might expect. For instance, a study by University of Michigan psychology researcher, Richard Ryan, uncovered that positive emotions foster intrinsic motivation. Conversely, negative emotions can inhibit that very drive. An interesting case is the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became one of the best-selling authors in history, Rowling was living on welfare, battling depression, and facing rejection after rejection from publishers. Her emotional struggles gave rise to the enchanting world of Harry Potter, which became a source of motivation not just for her but for millions around the globe. So how can emotions work to enhance your motivation? Here are a few ways. 1. Emotional connection to goals. When you connect emotionally with your goals, you're more likely to pursue them. This was seen in a study where students performed better when they felt a personal connection to the material they were studying. 2. Mindfulness practices. Engaging in mindfulness can help you manage negative emotions, leading to a clearer path towards your goals. A study from Harvard found that mindfulness practice increases motivation and focus towards important tasks. 3. Leveraging fear. Fear isn't always a negative motivator. It can push people out of their comfort zones. The fear of failure, for instance, can inspire individuals to work harder toward their objectives. In summary, harnessing the power of emotion is crucial in understanding and enhancing motivation. Imagine using your emotional experiences, both high and low, as a springboard to achieve your aspirations. As we dive deeper, let's explore the unexpected relationship between stress and motivation in our next chapter. Often, we think of stress as a primary antagonist to motivation, but can stress actually be a powerful motivator? The relationship between stress and motivation is intricate. Stress can drive us to take action, but it can also lead to paralysis in decision-making. Understanding this balance is crucial. Research indicates that moderate levels of stress can enhance motivation. A study conducted by the American Psychological Association revealed that stress, in small doses, can improve focus and performance. For example, think about the feeling you get before an important presentation or exam. That surge of anxiety can compel you to prepare and perform better. Consider the story of a well-known athlete, Michael Jordan. He faced intense pressure throughout his career, yet he thrived under stress. His famous flu game in the 1997 NBA Finals is a perfect illustration. Despite being sick, he pushed through to score 38 points, motivating his team to victory. However, the key lies in managing that stress. Here are some strategies to channel stress into motivation. 1. Reframing stress. Instead of viewing stress as a barrier, try reframing it as a challenge that propels you forward. 2. Preparation. Being prepared for stressful situations can lessen anxiety, allowing that stress to be a motivator rather than a deterrent. 3. Mindfulness techniques. Techniques such as deep breathing or meditation can transform negative stress responses into positive motivational fuel. In our next chapter, we will take a closer look at how creativity and motivation intertwine, revealing how fostering creative environments can unlock new levels of drive and determination. What if I told you that creativity is one of the most powerful sources of motivation? When individuals engage in creative activities, they often feel a surge of intrinsic motivation that fuels their desire to continue. Studies show that creative processes trigger the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, which enhances motivation. Take the example of Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple Incorporated. He was not just a tech visionary, but a man whose creativity transformed industries. Jobs often emphasized the importance of creativity in motivating his teams and himself. He believed that creating something beautiful would naturally motivate people to want to be part of that creation process. Moreover, research from Stanford University has shown that participating in creative activities can significantly boost motivation. In a study involving employees from various sectors, those who engaged in creative problem-solving reported higher levels of job satisfaction and motivation than those who did not. How can you harness creativity to enhance your motivation? Here are a few techniques. 1. Divergent thinking. Allow yourself to brainstorm without judgment. This can lead to unexpected ideas that motivate you to take new actions. 2. Creative routines. Incorporate creative activities into your routine, like drawing, writing, or music, which can serve as a motivating outlet. 3. Collaborative creativity. Engage with others in creative endeavors. Collaboration can inspire new ideas, leading to heightened motivation. In our closing segment, we'll dive into how the future of motivation science is shaping the way we approach personal development. Prepare to uncover some exciting insights. Imagine a rat in a maze, navigating its way to a piece of cheese. Every turn taken, every wrong turn corrected, is driven by a single concept: reward. This simple scenario reflects a complex web of neurobiological processes that underpin not just animal behavior, but human motivation as well. Welcome to the world of reward systems, where our brain's chemistry influences our actions and choices every day. The brain's reward system is a group of structures involved in delivering the sensation of pleasure whenever we perform activities that are essential to our survival. Activities like eating, socializing, and even accomplishing goals trigger dopamine release, a neurotransmitter often called the. How does motivation evolve as we age? Understanding motivation across the lifespan reveals significant insights into our psychological development. Studies indicate that motivation changes from intrinsic to extrinsic factors as we transition from childhood into adulthood. For children, motivation often stems from curiosity and the joy of learning. For example, a study published in the journal Developmental Psychology found that children aged 3 to 5 are driven to explore their surroundings purely based on the excitement of discovery. However, as we mature, the motivations shift towards external rewards like grades, recognition, and success. This is particularly evident in educational settings, where older students often prioritize grades over genuine learning interest. By understanding these shifts, educators and parents can tailor their approaches to nurture sustained motivation. For instance, fostering an environment that emphasizes learning goals rather than performance goals can enhance intrinsic motivation. In later stages of life, such as in adulthood or retirement, motivation may pivot again, now often centered on legacy, personal fulfillment, and societal contribution. Consider a recent survey conducted by the AARP that revealed older adults are motivated by their desire to contribute to their families and communities. This shift illustrates that as priorities change, so too do the sources and types of motivation that drive us. Understanding this evolution can significantly enhance our approach to self-improvement and personal development at every stage of life. Just when you think you have motivation figured out, another layer is revealed. What drives motivation in the twilight years? Stay tuned as we unpack this further. Motivation isn't always a positive force. In fact, it can lead to some dark places. From addiction to burnout, the same drive that propels us can also entrap us. Let's delve into the darker aspects of motivation and how they affect our lives. Consider the concept of toxic motivation. This happens when the pressure to achieve, often self-imposed, leads to unhealthy habits. For example, the pursuit of success can push individuals to work excessively long hours, leading to stress, anxiety, and ultimately burnout. A study by Gallup found that over 76% of employees experience burnout at work, primarily due to overwhelming expectations. The motivational drivers that push people to excel can, paradoxically, lead them down a pathway of exhaustion and dissatisfaction. In more extreme cases, we see motivation driving individuals toward addiction. The initial motivation might stem from a desire for escape, pleasure, or even social acceptance. However, this can spiral into a cycle of dependence that is incredibly hard to break. For example, the National Institute on Drug Abuse highlights that the brain's reward circuits can lead to a constant desire for artificially induced pleasure, overriding natural motivators like personal achievement or relationships. Moreover, the competitive nature of society often fosters toxic environments where success is the only acceptable outcome. This can lead to unethical behavior, fostering a culture of deceit and fraud. The infamous case of Enron employees showcases how the relentless pursuit of profit at all costs led to widespread corruption and financial disaster. Understanding these darker sides of motivation is crucial for holistic development. We must learn to distinguish between healthy and unhealthy motivations, recognizing when our driving forces become detrimental. What if the same drive to succeed could also lead us to rethink our relationship with motivation altogether? Join me as we further explore how to cultivate healthy motivation in our lives. The connection between our mind and body is more profound than we often realize. It's an intricate relationship that can significantly influence our motivation levels. Physiological states like our energy levels, physical health, and even our posture can alter our drive toward achieving goals. Research shows that low energy levels not only affect our performance but can also dampen our motivation. Consider the case study of athletes. A high-performance athlete knows that to maintain their motivation, they must also maintain optimal physiological health. If they're not adequately hydrated or well-nourished, their mental game falters. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Sports Sciences revealed a direct correlation between hydration levels and cognitive functions like attention and decision-making, crucial factors in competitive scenarios. Now, let's talk about posture. Amy Cuddy's groundbreaking research introduced the concept of power posing. Standing tall with your shoulders back not only conveys confidence to others, it also influences your own neurochemistry. Cuddy found that adopting dominant postures increases testosterone levels and decreases cortisol levels in subjects, leading to increased feelings of power and subsequently, motivation. Imagine walking into a room with the belief that you can conquer any challenge ahead. This psychological boost can be a game changer. Moreover, physical exercise naturally releases endorphins, which are chemicals in the brain that act as natural painkillers and mood elevators. This effect is sometimes referred to as the runner's high. Regular exercise positively impacts both our mindset and our motivation to tackle goals. A meta-analysis published in the journal Health Psychology revealed that individuals who engage in regular physical activity report enhanced motivation towards other life areas, including work and personal projects. In contrast, when we face physical health challenges, motivation often takes a hit. Chronic illness, injury, or fatigue can sap our will to act. A study from the World Health Organization indicated that up to 25% of people with chronic conditions experience significant motivational challenges. So how do we navigate these challenges? One strategy is to cultivate awareness of our physiological states. Are we tired, hungry, or unwell? Instead of pushing through, we can adjust our expectations and grant ourselves grace. Implementing regular breaks, mindful eating, and hydration can recharge our energy levels and, in turn, boost our motivation. Research by psychologists has shown that self-compassion plays a crucial role in motivation. It allows us to bounce back from perceived failures without losing drive. When we accept our limits, we can revive our motivation organically. This holistic approach promotes not just physical health but mental resilience and motivation. So next time you find your motivation slipping, check in with your body. Are you fueling it properly? Are you moving enough? Our motivational journey is not purely psychological, it's a beautiful symphony of mind and body working together toward our goals. The mind-body connection is vital, and understanding it can create pathways for sustained motivation. This intricate relationship underscores a potential barrier to motivation we often overlook, our physical state. As we understand more about this connection, we can harness its power to fuel our ambition and passion. But, as we delve deeper into the realm of motivation, we must explore another critical element, the role of mindfulness and meditation in enhancing our drive. How does being present impact our ability to pursue our passions? Let's find out in our next chapter. In our fast-paced world, the practice of mindfulness has emerged as a beacon of hope for many seeking motivation. But what exactly is mindfulness? At its core, it's the practice of being fully present and engaged in the moment, without judgment. This simple yet profound approach can drastically shift our relationship with motivation. Consider a fascinating study conducted at Harvard University that found that about 47% of the time, our minds wander. We think about things other than what we're doing, leading to feelings of unhappiness and disengagement. This wandering mind is often a barrier to motivation. When we're not fully present, it becomes easy to lose sight of our goals, to procrastinate, or to feel overwhelmed. Mindfulness offers a pathway to counteract this tendency. By focusing our attention on the here and now, we can foster clarity and commitment to our goals. Research suggests that practicing mindfulness meditation can enhance our ability to concentrate and improve overall well-being. A meta-analysis published in the journal Psychological Bulletin found that mindfulness interventions can significantly improve motivation and goal-directed behavior. Now, let's explore how even simple mindfulness techniques can reinvigorate our motivation. One popular approach is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. It guides you to identify 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This exercise forces you to engage with your environment and can be particularly helpful when facing overwhelming tasks. A relatable story involves a high school teacher, Ms. Ramirez, who struggled with motivating her students. After attending a mindfulness workshop, she implemented short mindfulness meditation breaks in class. Over time, she noticed not just improvement in her students' focus and engagement, but also their motivation towards learning. One student even remarked, "I feel less anxious about the tests because I'm more centered." By integrating mindfulness into our daily routines, we can cultivate a more profound sense of purpose. For example, during the morning commute,